Okay, 22.43, page 882, at Savati. This translation I don't like so much. It says, monks, dwell with yourselves as an island, with yourselves as a refuge, with no other refuge. With the Dhamma as an island, with the Dhamma as a refuge, with no other refuge. The old translation from the Pali Text Society, maybe because we are used to it, it sounds nicer to me. There it says, monks, be a lamb unto yourselves, be a refuge unto yourselves, with no other refuge. Take the Dhamma as your lamb, take the Dhamma as your refuge, with no other refuge. When you dwell with yourself as a refuge, as a lamb, as a refuge, with no other refuge, with the Dhamma as your lamb, with the Dhamma as your refuge, with no other refuge. The basis itself should be investigated thus. From what are sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair born? How are they produced? Let's stop here for a moment. Before I go further, you see this first opening sentence is very important. Be a lamb unto yourselves, or be an island unto yourselves. Be a refuge unto yourselves, with no other refuge. That means the Buddha is saying, depend on yourself. Don't go and depend on some famous teacher and all that. Don't depend on any other person. Even if we live in the same room as an Arahant, we cannot become enlightened if we don't depend on ourselves. Just like the simile, if you take a spoon to drink soup or to eat your meal, you enjoy the meal, you enjoy the soup. Does the spoon enjoy? The spoon doesn't know the taste of the soup or the food, right? So in the same way, we have to practice a spiritual path. Then only we will taste the fruit of the spiritual path. So that's why the Buddha says that we have to depend on ourselves. We don't depend on anybody else. But the Buddha at the same time says, take the Dhamma as your lamp, take the Dhamma as your refuge, with no other refuge. So we only have to depend on two things. One is to depend on ourselves, and secondly to depend on the Buddha's Dhamma. Not some teacher's Dhamma, not some any other teacher, but the Buddha's Dhamma. The original Dhamma of the Sammasambuddha, which is found in the earliest Nikayas like this. So here the Buddha says you should investigate from what are sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair born. How are they produced? In others, where does suffering come from? And monks, from what are sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair born? How are they produced? Here monks, the unlearned ordinary person who does not see Aryans, is unskilled and untrained in the Dhamma, who does not see superior persons and is unskilled and untrained in the Dhamma. He regards the body as the self, or self as possessing body, or body as in the self, or self as in the body. That body of his changes and alters. Through the change and alteration of body, there arises in him sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair. Similarly, with feeling, perception, volition as consciousness. So here the Buddha says the origin of sorrow, lamentation, pain, despair and all that comes because a person, an ordinary person, does not associate with Aryans, does not know the Aryan Dhamma, does not train in the Aryan Dhamma. So because of that, he regards the five aggregates as the self, or as belonging to the self, or as being in the self, or the self as being in the five aggregates. But the five aggregates must change because it's the nature of everything in the world to change. So when the five aggregates change and he is too attached to the five aggregates, then when they change, he cannot accept it. So sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair arise. That is how suffering comes about. But monks, when one has understood the impermanence of body, its change, fading away and cessation, when one sees as it really is with correct wisdom thus, in the past and also now, all bodies are impermanent, suffering and subject to change. Then sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair are abandoned. With their abandonment, one does not become agitated. Being unagitated, one dwells happily. The monk who dwells happily is said to be quenched in that respect. When one has understood the impermanence of feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, one sees as it really is, with correct wisdom, in the past and also now, all aggregates are impermanent, suffering and subject to change. So if he sees that, then he is not attached to it. Then sorrow, lamentation, pain and despair and all are abandoned. And with the abandonment, he does not become agitated. He dwells happily. It's the end of the sutta. So you see, sorrow and lamentation, all this suffering is born from attachment to the five aggregates, which we take to be the self or as belonging to the self.